Alright guys, welcome back. Yeah, I haven't posted a video in the last couple days just because, I've been busy with work. You guys know how it is. At the company I work at, it's budget season. We got a lot of things going on right now. I got events going on, catering stuff. But we're back here with the thing that you guys are looking for, the Bricky reaction. And you guys know, the last video was so good. I had so much fun watching the last video. Like the Adeptus Sororitas, the female I don't they're not I know they're not Space Marines, but the female uh the that faction, sorry, I don't know what they're called. I want to say Space Marines, but I don't want to say the other people, the Imperial Guard. They're neither. They're the Adeptus Sororitas. They blew me away with their dropping churches from orbit. Sorry, I'm just blown away right now. I struggle with my words while talking about it. That was crazy. So I'm gonna keep this intro short. Let's just jump right into the video. This is Bricky, every faction explained, number 2. Okay. All right, let's do this.
Hey all, this is part 2 in a 2-part series on the Warhammer races.
Yeah, we're ready for this.
One yet, we do the Imperium of Man.
It was so good. It was so good. It was so good.
For this episode, if you already have,
I want to dive. Sorry. Sorry. I know we just started the video. I want to dive more into the lore. I want to know what these Rifts of Chaos are. I want to know more about these other races, especially the Orcs. I really want to know more about them. This art in the background of Bricky looks crazy. I can't wait. Let's get more into this. Let's get more into this.
So after an entire episode of nothing,
this is gonna be so good.
We can now talk about chaos, which is again, but a little bit less. We also got demons and shit. I just felt someone.
He's a Birdman, dude. Okay, you guys have no idea how excited I am for this. Chaos. Since I posted the last video, and my friend saw that I posted a video, he's been telling me a lot about chaos, and just some of he hasn't delved too much in the lore because I told him no spoilers, right? But he did send me a picture of a model of this Birdman. I'm pretty sure it's him with the 2 heads, and the wings are all colorful. That's what I remember of the Birdman. I don't know his name or anything, or how big he's on the table, but the model looks pretty nice, so I'm very excited to see it.
Grab my ass. What?
Wait. Let's go back. Hold up.
I just felt someone grab my ass. What? Hard, Nick. So as I've mentioned many times,
I don't know what that's from. Oh, he's changing his legs again. All right.
The hellish landscape, the purgatory dimension realm between the material realm of our
the warp. I remember that.
In the warp, it's terrifying, horrible. There are
damn, that looks crazy. What the fuck?
All your mind, thoughts, and
eating a planet here?
It is both formless and empty. It is vast and tiny. It obeys the laws of time and physics while simultaneously does absolutely nothing of the sort. It is a hodgepodge.
I wish these pictures in the background had better pixelation sometimes. Maybe they're just really old pictures. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just they're really old and I just don't know it. But some of these pictures you're showing are really pixelated, but the art looks gorgeous. So I'd love to see the original, even if it's a small scale, in a book or on the computer or something. I'd love to see it. You guys let me know in the comments if there's a book with a lot of these arts or something that I should know.
A culmination of just unknowable, eldritch, horrifying shit. And there are 4 gods that permeate in chaos and the war.
Okay,
These
wait.
4 major chaos gods.
Hold up. Let's look at these a second. Alright. This guy, bottom right, he looks, I mean, I don't know what to say about him. He looks not good. I mean, none of them look good, but you guys know what I mean. Like not. He looks not healthy, is what I meant to say. Sorry. This guy up here looks. He looks. Very very cool. Is I'm not gonna like. Uh, I don't want to swear this early in the video. I don't know if YouTube's gonna say anything, but like this guy looks very very cool. I love his face design. I don't know what's going on with the armor too much, but his face design alone looks amazing. Um, this guy over here, top left, I mean, he looks pretty cool. I don't know. He just looks like I don't know what to say about him. He just looks kind of cool. Like, I mean, he looks like he loves hitting stuff. He has a big sword, a big fist, skulls, and angry. This one down here, in the blue bottom left, it might be my favorite. Not gonna lie, Just the armor with the hand coming out of the shoulders. Sorry, this might look weird on camera, but the hand coming out of the shoulders, like gripping an orb, and like the helmet with all that, like this looks really cool. That looks really cool. If Bricky doesn't explain what these four are, please let me know in the comments. Please, please, please let me know, because I really want to know this.
And if we wish to learn about chaos, we need to learn about each and every...
Oh! She's back. We saw her in the last video. Yep. Are we going to talk about them? Please, 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 please.
One of these chaos gods.
Please.
First up, we have Korn, and he is the easiest.
Okay.
Korn is your classic Satan. He is
all
about anger, murder, fighting, blood, guts, death. You ever heard the term blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne?
We've all heard that term. Everybody who's ever played a video game before has heard that term. All right, we know it. And I knew it was related to Warhammer. I didn't know it was related to this chaos person, Korn.
That's Korn. The whole idea is that he
looks
all about the fury and
so
strength
cool.
of battle.
He looks so cool.
Where blood comes from, so long as blood is flowing.
Yeah.
And murder and carnage and slaughter and death.
Yo,
that is
he's so cool.
Very simple to understand. Next up, you have Tzeentch, and Tzeentch is the god of change. However, the god of change, permeates in so many different other ways. He's the most eldritch of all the demon gods.
Sorry, I don't know if I could get over his knees. Like, I know last time I commented on his like third or fourth mouth placement down at the bottom, but I didn't look at his knees last time. I don't know if I can get over that.
He has this weird way to always be plucking at the strings of the universe. He's always
yeah, I don't know if I can look at that, to be honest.
He's doing his best to cause as much little bullshit as he can.
Okay.
Tzeentch is unknowable. Everything that makes sense.
Okay, this picture's good. I like this picture. This picture's fine. That mouth at the bottom though. What you trying to say? I'm wearing blue right now. You about the blue stuff. What you saying?
And every type of destiny or fate is all foretold and also
this looks
changeable.
So cool.
It is set in stone while also completely random. He knows what everything is going to happen and also that none of it's going to happen. You would ask Tzeentch a question. That question leads to 3 more questions. And those questions lead to the heat death of the universe, which asks 4 answers to those questions. And then he thinks to himself, what are questions even really? And are we even asking the question?
No.
Paths to answers and other horse shit.
Yeah.
Tzeentch is just, I'm going to fuck with stuff. He is yes and he is no. He is the understanding and he is complexity. He is unknowable. And that's what the God of Change is about. Very bizarre. And he likes birds a lot.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Next up, we got Papa.
Wait, hold up.
Very bizarre. And he likes birds.
This is the guy I was talking about. The one that I liked. And, like, these things in the background, they look awesome. Like, I like this style of, like, creature or monster or whatever you want to call it design. But the knees threw me away. Knee holes, I'm not about the knee holes. I'm not about the knee holes. I'm really not. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I don't know why. Next up, we got Papa Nurgle. Papa Nurgle, he loves you for who you are. Probably not.
Okay.
He will murder you just the same. But Papa Nurgle is about rot, pestilence, death, and decay. He is the end of everything. Him and Zeech do not like each other very much because where Zeech represents change and adjustment, Nurgle represents stagnation and death. He is all about miasma and pestilence and large bloat and pus and organs and people just being sedentary, sloth.
Yeah, okay.
He is the idea that everything will rot and decay and die. Nothing is certain besides decay and death. All of us.
I mean, it looks really cool.
Way and broken down.
Yeah, we do.
Just sheer, never-ending decomposition. So the joke that Nurgle always likes you is generally because of that. Because we all end up the same. Dude, we all rot. And we all
alright, change the screen.
That's Nurgle. And
thank you. Okay, this screen's much better. This screen's I can handle this, but like the last one was Jesus.
Of that nature. That's generally Nurgle. He's pretty easy to understand as well, and he chunk. Finally, we have the youngest of the Chaos Gods, and that is Slaanesh, also known as the Prince of Pleasure or the God of unspeakable excess. Slaanesh is generally referred to with sex, but it's not only sex. It's just that's a good avenue if you want to make stuff.
Yeah, I want to make stuff. Oh, I want to make stuff, bro.
Senses of the body being cranked to
Jesus,
not just 11,
dude,
but more like 17. So we'll discuss Slaanesh a little bit more when we talk about the Eldar because they done fucked up. But
oh no! Is it?
It's mainly about just the excess of emotions, and therefore sex is.
Did I get baited? Did I get baited? I think I got baited. Well, maybe I'm still down. Maybe I'm still down. We'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Really a large part of it. However, it's
maybe I'm still down.
Mostly pain and torture. Lots of pain and torture, but sometimes sexually related or drug related. Lots of drugs. Lots of drugs. Slaanesh gets off on everything. Extremes in happiness, extremes in sadness, extremes in pain, and sadism, and masochism. And of course, that goes along with the sex part of it as well.
That art looks awesome.
It's generally referred to with sex because of the color scheme, very purple, lots of exposed genitalia. A lot of their models have like exposed nipples and stuff. And that is generally the theme you go for from a physical side, but it really embodies everything. Mainly pain and also the excessive amounts of emotion. So when it comes down to it, you'll find a lot of them have things like spikes or whips or any kind of BDSM style gear because it is unspeakable excess. The Prince of Pleasure. Everything in excess to the point where it is just sheer frightening. That is Slaanesh in a nutshell. A little bit bizarre and a little hard
Oh shit, wait, hold up. We're about to look at this. Okay. I feel like we looked at this artwork before, didn't we? I gotta check my last video because I really feel like we looked at this artwork before. Mainly this down here. Sorry, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but down here. I feel like we looked at this one before. I could be wrong though. But let's continue.
But as we talk more about the Dark Eldar layer in this video, you'll understand it far better and far more than you'd want to. Now, you might be thinking, why would anyone ever want to join Chaos? They all
the colors make sense now.
Screwed up and just frightening things, right? Well, the thing is that, of course, one, your mind is put into the warp and the materium, so you can be easily swayed by chaos demons when they get into your head, especially if you're a psyker. Sometimes regiments of the less mentally strong people, whether they be civilians or, say, low-level guardsmen or conscripts, can be easily swayed by this and become chaos cultists and stuff, and they serve their dark gods and whatever god they personally refer. However, and this might seem strange, chaos in their own right isn't necessarily evil. See, the warp is every manifestation of emotion and being, every soul, everything of existence. This includes all the good things. All the different chaos gods have another side to their coin. Korn
I see.
might be death, murder, slaughter, but he's also got this weird sense of survival of the fittest, trial by combat, and honor. Korn will never lie to you. Korn will never stab you in the back. Korn isn't about conniving and scheming. Korn is about straight up mano e mano, you versus me, get in the ring, we're gonna murder each other hard right now. It may not be a good thing at the end of the day, but it is that other side of the coin. Him and Zeech.
Okay. So that makes a lot of sense now, because a lot of people like chaos. Like a lot of people that have been my friends, I said like, hey, I'm checking out 40K. You know, they've been playing 40K for years, and they've been like telling me to check it out, but I haven't yet. They've been telling me for a long time chaos is awesome. And they love the different gods. Now, like, I've heard their names in passing before, but, like, I don't know. The only one I really know is Nurgle. Everyone talks about Nurgle. That's the only one I really know. There are some, like, I've probably heard the rest of them off by chance. And, like, maybe as I get more used to the names, I'll, like, hear it more in conversation and be like, oh, that's the blue guy. That's the red guy. That's, you know. But going off of what he just said, that is a really, really good thing to know. Because just this sheer, like, the way he was describing it at first was really, really evil, and like things that, I mean, it's chaos, right? You're expecting evil, but there's a good side to the coin too. It's a two-faced coin. It's like, yeah, murder, death, slaughter, slaughter, kill, 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 but also honor, combat, won't lie to you, is like, hey, we're gonna fight one-on-one. There's not gonna be somebody who comes up behind you and just stabs you in the back, or like, you know, in Game of Thrones season 1, you know, they stab what's his Stark? I forget his name. They stab Stark in the leg, and like, you know, Jaime Lannister gets pissed off. Like, yeah, that's All right, let's continue.
Because Zeech is that conniving schemer, but he's also about the idea of hope. Where there is change for your predicament. There is change for your problem. The hope of the galaxy, the ability to bend the world to your will, the idea that your fate is not set in stone, but a reality that you control your own destiny and can control it whenever you want.
The holes just get me. The holes get me. I'm sorry.
That is Zeech. And of course, Zeech and Nurgle hate each other because while Nurgle does
everyone just hate Zeech?
Death and decay, he also represents finality and ending.
Nurgle's the one I know for sure.
Be mentally
everybody loves Nurgle for some reason.
End and how you will end.
But I kind of get it.
Unknown,
he looks awesome.
Not present with Nurgle. With Nurgle, everything will rot and die, and that provides that finality, that ability that this is.
Everyone says
we are all the same.
All my friends say Papa Nurgle loves you. Well, not all my friends, but my friends who play Warhammer, they say Papa Nurgle loves you. And anytime I'm feeling sick, or if I'm feeling sick or something, and I send it to my group chat, like, guys, I'm sick today or something, like, they'll say Papa Nurgle loves you. And so, like, this video has been a long time coming, guys. Like, you have no idea. This has been a long time coming.
And we will all end the same. We know the meaning of life. The meaning of life is to live and die and rot. And with that, it brings peace of mind. Slaanesh is a lot more
fair.
While they are the excess of emotion, they are also the representation of emotion. Slaanesh embodies happiness. Slaanesh embodies excitement and joy.
I can see all that.
Not only in the sense of the physical, you know, bam style of pleasure, but
I'm
also
down. I'm down.
And drink and air on your cheek and sunlight, the feeling, emotion and feeling. All of that is also represented with Slaanesh. So you have to ask, why are they always represented as super evil skulls and spikes on everything and want to murder everybody? I don't really got an answer for you on that one. My assumption is that because mentally humans may think worse thoughts even if we don't act on them, and therefore they're projected in the warp more. That one's a little bit weird. I don't know. This is me spitballing right now, but
that kind of makes sense.
I don't know. You need a super bad guy. You already got the Imperium of Man. You need somebody to be a little bit worse than them. So you got demons. Honestly, who cares? I just want to buy like a bird magician. Look at
dude, that's the model that my friend sent me. That's it. Sorry, I'm trying to point. I'm not used to the YouTube thing. I'm trying to point on the camera. That's it, man. That model looks awesome. His staff looks sick. His two heads look sick. His wings look awesome. Now the model he sent me a picture of was like the art, the painting on it was a bit different. It was like way more colorful, but like I would love to try painting some of this stuff, man. I would really, really love that. And some of you guys don't know, I live in Tokyo. I found one of my friends sent me when I posted the first video. They sent me a link to some of the stores around me, and there's actually this huge store here in Akihabara that I might check out. Now, I have to ask if I have permission to film in there. If not, I'll just go in there and I'll like give my like 2 cents on what I saw. If I'm able to, then I'll film in there and like post that video. But yeah, let's keep going.
So cool. So combining all this together, on the tabletop, Chaos Demons are generally very melee-based. They run in, go really hard. You have lots of summoning and conjuring, tons of spells. Generally a little bit frail, but they have special saves to make them a little bit stronger. You've got giant demons and smaller demons. You got hordes of little boys and tons of big guys. Demons are, as they seem, demons. Nurgle is slow. Korn is super scary in melee. You've got Zeech, who are far more into psychers and spellcasting, and then Slanesh, who is all melee, really, really, really fast, but squishy, but in lots of hordes of tons of melee and pain damage, of course. So overall, the demons are a huge part of 40K and a massive threat to almost every single faction, with the exception of a couple. However, the big part about demons is also transferred into the other 9 Primarchs we didn't talk about, which are the Chaos Space Marines.
We're here.
So Horse and all of his boys, all of them in the
I
Primarchs,
was so excited for this.
They have all also become Chaos Boys, and they all have their own special Chaos Legions, specializing in so many different things, just like the Adeptus Astartes, the Angels of Death, the regular Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines are a whole lot different than the regular Space Marines. They have the same armor, generally the same training and toughness. They just specialize in different kinds of things. And also a lot of the Primarchs have ascended into greater demons? They're demon Primarchs at this point. Gigantic, horrifying man-demon hybrids that are pretty awesome, if I'm going to be honest. They look really, really cool. But then that's got to be associated legions.
Sorry, that's got to be the Korn guy, right? Guys, it doesn't take a genius to think that this guy with the big axe, the 2 swords across the dick, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on YouTube. I might cut that out. And the big, fucking spiky back and the bunch of skulls everywhere. That's probably Korn, right? Like, I mean, I've already kind of fallen in love with Korn, so I hope it is.
They are a part of are all kind of going out there and causing a large ruckus.
Let's see the
Slanesh
one.
Raw strength and firepower
Zeech and
of a legion of Space Marines. Imagine that entire legion just converting to chaos and immediately fighting you. It's generally pretty horrifying.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them, so I gotta write them down. But you've got the Emperor's Children with Primarch Fulgrim, loyal to Slanesh. These people, they are some messed up people. They're just sensory overload, tons of drugs.
Oh, he looks so cool, dude. That face looks so sick. That looks so cool.
Tons of torture. And I think Fulgrim is a demon Primarch right now, and oh god, I am terrified to see what that man looks like. At least on the tabletop, because Emperor's Children are not good people.
I don't know what I'm
Iron
looking at.
Warriors, which are kind of like opposite of the Imperial Fists.
Okay, they look
Perturabo,
they look pretty cool.
They're Chaos Undivided. They just kind of serve Chaos in a general aspect instead of choosing one of the 4. But the Iron Warriors are big on the siege and fortification, and they're basically entirely against the Imperial Fists and are a major rival. Perturabo, I believe, is also still alive, and I'm also very interested to see what he looks like, because Demon Primarchs are badass. You've got the Night Lords with Primarch Conrad Kurz. Conrad Kurz is dead. which is good because he's a sick fuck. But the Night Lords are generally about terrorizing people, and
see, that's what I'm saying. Like the pixelation on some of these pictures, like now, like the last picture. Let me go back a second. This picture looks awesome, and I would love to see the. I mean, he's dead, but I would love to see if his Legion is still around. If it's playable, I would love to see what they're about because this looks awesome.
You've got the Night Lords with Primarch Conrad Kurz. Conrad Kurz is dead.
Conrad Kurz. I'll remember that. I'll remember that.
But the Night Lords are generally about terrorizing people and terrorism. They're generally about fear, and rightly so. You've got the World Eaters with Primarch Angron still alive. Also excited to see. Angron, if you think you've known an angry person, Angron is the angriest son of a bitch you will ever know. Angron removed parts of his brain that didn't make him angry, so he could be angrier.
What?
Angron. Fucker's mad. You've got Deathguard with Primarch Tyrion. They actually have their own special codex.
What am I looking at? What was that?
Mad. You've got the Deathguard with...
Dude. This has to be Nurgle, right? Like, just looking at them, they have to be Nurgle. This looks awesome. What am I looking at right now? I'm sorry to pause so much in this video, but, like, I'm really, really just... What the heck, man?
With Primarch Mortarion, they actually have their own special codex and their own major army
Deathguard.
on tabletop. Mortarion himself is actually one of the models, and look at him.
Dude.
Look at him. It's so cool looking. Of course, Nurgle based, obviously. So very slow,
the
but
wings
very
have
tanky.
eyes and
You've got the Word Bearers with Primarch Lorgar.
Okay.
Lorgar is, I believe, still alive. I don't know what's up with him at the current moment, but the Word Bearers are generally the people who caused all the major problems in the beginning.
Yeah, all right,
At least I blame them for it. They're little assholes. You got the Black Legion with Primarch Horus. Get fucked, nerd. You've got the Alpha Legion with Primarch Alfarius Omegon.
He looks cool.
Chaos, I think. And then finally, you've got the Thousand Sons with Primarch Magnus the Nerd. Thousand Sons also have their own book, just with the Deathguard. Magnus is also a tabletop.
Hey, he looks cool. What the heck?
Cool.
Yeah, he does look super cool. Sorry, he said super, and I said super cool, so I knew he was gonna say cool after. But yeah, that model looks awesome. That model looks sick. The models around him look pretty cool too. This is the Thousand Sons. I see the guy in the background. He just mentioned him. This looks awesome.
As you can tell, and they're all super heavily Psyker and kind of Egyptian themed. Looks pretty neat. But
yeah, they look sick. Yeah, they look awesome.
These Chaos Space Marine factions, you can play as a lot of different ones, but the main ones that you can really work at are standard Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, as well as the Deathguard and Thousand Sons, as they are the most fleshed out, especially on the tabletop at least. See this right here? This is a really good way to describe the Chaos Space Marines. What the thick-headed fools with their broken corpse of an emperor fail to understand is that not only can they never defeat us, but they cannot hide or flee or shield themselves from the triumph of chaos. They are finite and we are unbound, undivided. They must not err, or they shall fall to heresy. All who fall join our cause. Every imperial fool who dares to open his eyes is a willing recruit. They strive merely to hold back our fury and might, and it consumes them. Thus, you can see chaos is inevitable. We lurk not only beyond their grasp and at their gates, we lurk within the darkness of their souls, on the tip of their tongues, in their tortured dreams. We are them, but freed from the shackles of ignorance. We are them, grown strong, evolved. We are them, but so much more. As hardcore as that quote is, the saddest part is they're mostly right. Chaos is basically unkillable.
Yeah,
you can probably get rid of Space Marines.
This looks awesome.
Chaos Space Marines, that is. But every soul that dies goes to the warp. Every Chaos soul will end up back in the warp. And depending on how hard you killed them, they will come back at some point. Every demon you banish will return at some point. Chaos is unstoppable. The warp is unending. And while maybe there is at some point some way to stop them somehow, the resources to do so, the requirements to do so, are so far beyond the reaches of man and the other races at the current moment that really it's just an unstoppable force that just keeps on coming and is just barely being slowed. Chaos is by far the biggest threat. They are without number, their legions are everywhere, and yeah, they're pretty scary. So, I promise, we're done with humans now. Let's talk about some Xenos.
Here we go. Talk about the aliens. You know, when I thought about Warhammer, of course I knew about Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, the bad boys, right? Like, everybody knows that there's, like, you got the humans and the bad humans, right? I didn't know that much about them. That's a lot. But everybody knows about the aliens. Let's get into the aliens. I'm so excited for this. I want to see the bugs, the Tyranids, and I want to see the orcs. That's what I want to see. And the Tau. I mean, the Tau, like, the last video just kind of got me not super excited for the Tau. I just, like, they don't seem like people like them that much. Maybe they're not that interesting as I thought. But let's get into it.
So let's talk about the Eldar, or also known as the Eldari, which are a super hyper-specialized and very technologically advanced race of, well, elf people. They were, as well, responsible for the creation of Slaanesh, the newest demon god. How they do that?
They're just gonna drop that?
Debauchery on a world-ending scale.
Okay.
So back in the day, it was just Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle. And the Eldar are very, very ancient, millions of years. These Eldar, however, have a bit of a sensory problem. You know, every kind of pain or feeling that you have is a little bit amplified compared to the normal.
This guy in the red looks awesome. If that's a real model or if that's like a character, like, you guys gotta let me know. You have to let me know. Drop me a link or something. Let me know. I gotta know.
However, with Eldar, as their race advanced
with
so
the sword too, he
they
looks so
became
cool.
so self-reliant, and everything became so easy. There was no requirement for food production anymore.
Okay.
There was no shortages. Everything was basically done. Everyone was so comfortable.
All right.
And that comfort breeded this weird sedation. And that sedation breeded the requirement for more and more debauchery.
Debauchery!
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 When everything you have can be so easily acquired,
what the heck is that?
you will end up down this road of pure debauchery.
That looks crazy.
All the senses the Eldar had.
That looks cool too.
Things like feeling, happiness, sadness, and just evil and good. All
Guys, do I have to start
satisfied
playing this game?
and satiated. And the desire to satiate these senses grew more and more with worse and worse debauchery. It started off with things like sex and drugs becoming so much more rampant because these are the first things you generally turn to when requirements for living are so easily accessible. It would get to the point that made Sander Cohen in BioShock.
Yeah,
All right.
I knew what I was looking at right away. Sandra Cohen, BioShock. We all knew it. It made him look like a normal person, or is that what he's about to say?
This is the kind of debauchery it led to. It was constantly satisfying and satiating these sexual and sadistic or masochistic fantasies that only elevated and elevated. And this was species-wide. People started going down darker, more depraved, and more violent paths as time went on. However, some people didn't entirely take to that. Some of the Eldar were looking at this depraved species that they had become and said, no thanks for me, dog, I'm good. And they bailed. These are the Craft World Eldar. They left on these giant continent-sized starships.
Looking at this thing in the back, this big thing in the back, I think my friend collects these models. I'm pretty sure one of my friends collects Craft. If this is Craft World that we're looking at right now, I'm pretty sure it's mostly the head. This head right here, that's what I recognize a lot. Now, he has it painted differently, but the shape of it and the shoulders here, the spikes shooting out of the shoulders, I'm pretty sure he collects those.
Craft Worlds. They believed in learning the old ways of the Eldar and pushing away from this depravity and debauchery and going back to their main roots. And so they would segment themselves on these giant craft worlds far in the outer reaches of space. They even had this thing called the Webway. Remember what we mentioned about warp travel with the Imperium?
Yeah.
Well, the Eldar had something way safer called a Webway. And the Eldar Webway is actually like a pocket dimension kind of thing. And in that pocket dimension, there were also more horrible, depraved groups and clans that would spend their time in there. And if you imagine the debauchery was bad already, these were debauchery X10. So all of this continued, and it bloated until Slaanesh just burst forth. All that emotion, all that mental, thought processes, I suppose, all of this in such a condensed space. Don't forget, this is all being shot, all their souls as well, into the warp. All of this depravity right into the warp. So what happened? Boom! Slaanesh was birthed and killed off 90% of the entire Eldar population.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So they did a bunch of bad stuff, a bunch of stuff that they were doing for a long time, but like it got to that point that it birthed a literal chaos god. That's nuts.
Trillions had their souls ripped from their bodies,
and I'm gonna say she, because they're saying he, she, I don't know. I'm gonna say she. She's hot. All right. It cost them, I don't know, 50%, 60%. I don't know how much of the population, but she's hot. I think it was worth it. Yo, call me out if you want. Call me out if you want. I think it was worth it.
Their actual fleshy bodies devoured by Slaanesh demons. The entirety of the Eldar race was eaten alive and their souls consumed.
Wait, all of it?
To the Prince of Pleasure. All of them.
All of them?
Fucked up. It was so bad that it literally ripped a warp hole into the fabric of the materium called the Eye of Terror. That's literally this like quasi-horrifying gateway portal from the Materium and the Immaterium right next to Cadia. And it is horrifying.
No, we talked about Cadia before.
Also known as
that's what happened to Cadia?
By the Eldar, slaughtered
the
entire population except for a couple. Those in the craft worlds were actually not affected by this as they were so far in the reaches of the galaxy.
Wait, did I mess up when saying it was worth it? Guys, if I messed up, tell me, but it looked really worth it at the time. And maybe that's what they were thinking too. Maybe that's what the Eldar were thinking at the same time.
See, that crazy crack, that birth of Slaanesh only affected the ones in the center. So these craft world Eldar were able to escape, but Slaanesh got their sights on them. Every time an Eldar will die, their soul doesn't just pass into the warp naturally. It goes straight to Slaanesh, craft world or not. What about those people in the Webway?
Yeah, what about
imagine that giant birth happening, but they were only able to just barely get a grasp onto you. Slaanesh was just barely able to hold on. These people are the Dark Eldar, or also known as the Drukhari. The Eldar population right now is so massively small. It is minuscule compared to any of the other most of the other populations in the universe. The Eldar are consistently having issues trying to get their population up because as their souls are constantly being hungered by from Slaanesh, they realize their entire species is doomed. And they understand it very well. Since the time of the fall, our race has been haunted by what we, in our reckless pursuit of hedonistic indulgence, gave birth to. Though our dreams once overturned worlds and quenched suns, we are now but fitful shadows clinging to the edge of existence. All the stars in the sky cannot blot out the hateful glare of the red moon's eye. The birthing place of the great enemy pulses with all the malice of a demon that is dreaming, casting its shadow over all we have ever done and all we ever shall. Every twisted strand of fate and casting of the runes leads me to this time, to this place, and it is clear that the final battle awaits me at the ancient crone worlds, a conflict the likes of which has not been seen since the Monkai warred amongst themselves and their corpse of a seer fell to his traitorous son. Is coming, and all my steps lead towards it, no matter that I walk other paths. I see the stars stain red with the blood of the Monkai, and though their wars do not concern me, I would gladly let them destroy one another. I know that to avoid this fight is to condemn my race to inevitable doom, and though all I see is darkness, I know that I will not flinch from my destiny.
Jesus.
And now...
Oh my God, that was a banger speech. This isn't some like random sorry, my language. This isn't some random faction. Like that was a real speech. Like that was awesome. I wish I knew some of the words that they use that like I didn't understand. They have like their own dialect or something that they threw into there. But that speech was awesome. And this art that I'm looking for the art that I'm looking at in the back is great. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough call on which women I'm painting, cause like, goddamn, I'm trying to reenact the Titanic. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about cute plastic models.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
Okay.
The first playable race we have for the Eldar are the Craft World Eldar and living in those Craft Worlds I mentioned earlier. And each of them have their own kind of Craft World, almost like a Space Marine Legion. Each Craft World is in itself its own special kind of group. And the Eldar themselves are very fast and rely a lot on trickery. They are squishy, a bit weak, but they're very in tune as psychers.
Got pictures of the
Tons
models?
of psychers across the entire Eldar population, and their weaponry and abilities are fast and extremely hard-hitting, but of course rather fragile. Understanding an Eldar's brain is an exercise in futility. They are all over the place in confusion and trickery on a whole galactic scale. They fight weird, they think weirder, and Eldar in their own right really rely on this to keep their species alive. They need to think about deception and the strangeness of what they do if they truly want to not be immediately murdered and slaughtered wholesale thanks to their entirely small population. However, I must say that it seems like their population is getting slightly better. These craft worlds hold millions upon millions of people. And as they continually, reproduce and have their craft worlds expand, losing a few people in battle, while hurts a lot, they aren't really losing what's extremely precious to them. It's not like every single death means the death of their species. It seems like they're kind of on the upturn a little bit. They're still a doomed race being sucked into Slaanesh every time someone dies, but they are
if she I don't know if I can say this. If she's sucking never mind, let's continue.
Definitely doing a little bit better.
Let's continue, just continue.
Eldar are fast, cunning, and what they don't make up for in tankiness, they make up for in extremely advanced weaponry. They also call humans Monkai, which is something I mentioned earlier.
Well, that's what they meant to...
slur for humans in the Warhammer world. Why is it called Monkai? Well, it's because you can't, in your game, call people monkeys. On the tabletop, exactly what
Stop. Sorry.
Not very tanky.
That was a... Sorry, we have to stop there. What did I just hear? I just slammed my keyboard when he said that. Hold up, let's go back. What did I just hear?
On the tabletop, in your game, call people monkeys. Is it called Monkai? Well, it's because you can't, in your game, call people monkeys. On the tabletop,
1 second. Hold up. You're done. You're done. Hold it in for a second, chat. Guys. Okay. Look. Look that way. The models look really cool. Okay? But they're calling you Monkai. So, is it worth it? You tell me. And I'm going to bring this up to my friend. Hey. I'm only going to say your first name. Joey. Alright? I'm watching you now, okay? I saw what your race is calling people. Okay? What your faction or your whatever you want to call it. I see you, Joey. Alright? Alright, I ain't gonna dox you. Alright? I ain't gonna dox you. But that's crazy.
That's what I said. Not very tanky, generally pretty squishy, hit like trucks and move at Mach 5. Fast, hit hard, die fast. Exactly how it sounds. They've been good for a very long time too. We bring only death and leave only carry on. It is a message even a human can understand.
Bro!
So,
alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I got distracted with work. You guys know how it is, right? So, let's get back into it. We were just finished off with the Eldar. Their models looked super cool. I'm actually really interested in them. I'm not a big fan of the glass cannon kind of playstyle in like the games that I play. So I don't know if that's really going to be for me, but the models look awesome. Let's get into it. I think the next one up was the Dark Eldar. I forget the name he used for it, but it was the Dark Eldar. Yeah, let's get into it.
It's a message even a human can understand.
Yes.
Eldar. So,
yeah,
Drukhari.
Sick.
Let's talk about the Dark Eldar.
God damn, dude. You're telling me you wouldn't?
Eldar.
On today's episode of How Fucked Up Is Fucked Up. That's fucked up.
So those people I mentioned in the Webway, in the super deranged cults and the depraved people of the Eldar, in the Webway, they didn't quite get a hold onto them. Slaanesh like has them, but it has them on like by the pinky finger. And they're slowly being consumed by Slaanesh, but they found out they can stave her off by doing Slaanesh things. The Dark Eldar are by far the worst, most horrifying, disgusting, depraved, and brutal race in all of Warhammer 40k.
Damn,
These
really?
are entirely a group of people whose full purpose to save their species from extinction, to go into planets, raid them, and take as many slaves as they possibly can to torture them for 1, 5, 10, 20, a million years, because that torture will keep them from dying. They look very BDSM style too. They definitely have a lot more spiky bits and they have a lot more of that kind of leathery black look to them. But let's say you are an upstanding Imperial citizen, living life on a regular planet. You get invaded by the Necrons. The Necrons will shoot you with a...
They look so sick, dude. I was all about the orcs before, but like we haven't even gone to the orcs yet, but like just because they're orcs, right? So I was thinking about playing the orcs, but these guys look so cool. I would love to see... I guess we'll see it in this video, but I can't wait to see their models. These guys look awesome.
Deatomizer, and you will be destroyed in a millisecond, and that's it.
Okay.
Not the worst way to go. You are invaded by Chaos Marines or something. You take a bolter shot to the head or a chain sword across your stomach, and you get cut in half. Painful, but not the worst. The orcs arrive. They beat you to death.
Yeah.
Hurts, but, you know, whatever. Tyranids, they eat you alive. It's pretty rough. The Dark Eldar. This is going to get a little graphic. I apologize. You pray you die. You don't. You are instead taken as a human slave. Your life will be endless work and agony, 24/7. They will make sure you can't not die, as your pain satisfies them. They will hook you up to all manner of torture devices. They will inject pain-based like stimuli drugs directly into your nervous system. They will slowly run razor blades across your skin. They will fillet you and just pull out your teeth and your fingernails one by one. They will remove your appendages and your skin and wait for it to grow back so they can do it again. They will murder and torture and use the R word, it rhymes with grape, your entire family in front of you and do the exact same thing to them. You yourself will also be rhymes with grape anywhere and everywhere possible. And this will occur for 20 years until you are no longer satisfying to them. And then you will be contorted, crushed, and twisted into some form of trophy, a fleshy trophy, or a ring, or a couch, or a TV stand, or perhaps a wonderful hat, while you are, of course, still alive and breathing. And you will become a moaning, fleshy trophy for eternity. And that is what happens when you are taken by the Dark Eldar.
God damn, dude. Like, the fact that that at the end of it you don't even die, so you can just like, you know, just it's all over. Like it. God damn. That's crazy. I like knew it was dark, but like holy, this is nuts. This is on another level.
They are the most depraved, most horrifying race in all of 40K.
Yeah, no
kidding. They look
kidding.
apart, and they do it so they all don't die. They are literally forced to do this, because if they don't, Slaanesha's grip will get harder, and they will have their souls pulled away. So long as they keep doing this, Slaanesha's like, you're doing good, man. You're doing solid. You keep that shit up, you elf-eared bastards. That's the Dark Eldar. That's the Drukhari. They are horrible. On the tabletop, they're actually kind of like Eldar, but more extreme. They are even squishier than the Eldar, but they hit generally even harder. Fast attacks, skirmishers, really quick, speedy, like get around them, do a lot of damage, get away kind of stuff. That's most of the Dark Eldar.
Their vehicles there look like pirate ships. I don't know if that's it's probably intentional. These guys are smart. They know what they're doing. But it look like pirate ships.
Eldar. Look up the definition of grim dark in a dictionary. You'll find a picture of the Dark Eldar. And Sev from Republic Commando.
Hell yeah, Sev, dude, what a throwback. Whoa, it's been a minute since we saw Sev. That's crazy. What a throwback.
From Mr. Vecht. We are the lords of despair, masters of terror. Dread and agony are our meat and wine, and they are plentiful indeed. Dark Eldar. Let's talk about the Harlequins.
Yeah.
Clowns.
What's the matter, Andy? Don't you want to have some fun?
There's no laws against the Pokemon, Batman.
Harlequins are a bizarre race of Eldar. They're demonic clown performers. They're like a weird mix of Sander Cohen from BioShock and Jin from League of Legends, but in a more clown theme. They're artists of death and perfecters of their craft. They do not belong to Craft Worlds or any of the weird Drukhari people. They guard something called the Black Library, which is this giant tome of never-ending knowledge deep in the heart of the Eldar Webway, and also guarded by their god named Kegorok, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He is the laughing god, but it's the Eldar's laughing god, and these are the Harlequins, the Harlequin clowns. These are Eldar clowns, okay? So imagine the things that an Eldar, these depraved individuals, would find funny. And this is the god of that. It's a horror clown. These are gods of horror for us normal people. For them, they're like, oh, it's so funny. They're all dying horribly. Honk, honk. They're very bizarre and difficult to describe. They've escaped the ruinous powers of Slaanesh somehow, but their main thing is guarding that Black Library. And the Harlequins just... they're demon clown performers. They're barely any models on the tabletop. They're good in melee. They're demon clowns. I'm not sure. I got a quote. It is too easy for an Eldar to embrace the obscene virtues of chaos, for Slaanesh is nothing more than a manifestation of the Eldar mind in its most wild and unconstrained form. Human morality is meaningless to the Eldar, and to the dark side of the Eldar mind, all life is to be expended at a whim. Cruelty and generosity are but the impulse of a moment. Beauty and sensuality are virtues that can be expressed in bloodshed just as easily as in song. To an unfettered Eldar mind, there is neither sanity nor madness, but merely a wave of perfect existence fulfilled by its own savage momentum. They're very strange. Harlequins, Drukhari, Eldar, they are an anomaly that make humans seem completely easy to understand in comparison. They range from rekindling their civilization to horrifying murder and also clowns. They're all over the place, but honestly, they represent quite well and are rather...
That guy in the red looks awesome. I think, it's so cool.
Interesting, especially with the whole Slaanesh murdering everyone bit. So, yeah, Eldar. Now, bugs.
They're following me, Mom. They're following me. The bugs.
That clip's so good. No, this looks awesome. I mean, like, I'm the Eldar models look really cool, but I'm not a big fan of the Eldar in general. When I was younger, elves were really cool. Now I'm all about dwarves and orcs. All right, so but bugs. I mean, these bugs look really cool. That big guy in the back looks awesome. I'm actually really excited for. What is that behind his head? Is that a gun? Is that a gun bug? I feel like I'm really gonna like the bugs. Let's get into it.
Tyranids. Now,
sorry, what's that?
The bugs.
Tyranids.
The Tyranids.
Okay.
Now,
I did hear.
You want
to
talk something a lot more fun, a little more simple than all this crazy Eldar shenanigans? Let's talk the Tyranids. They're bugs. Do they look like Zerg? Hell yeah, they look like Zerg. You want to know why they look like Zerg? Because they were actually supposed to be what Zerg were. Apparently, StarCraft was supposed to be a 40k game in the beginning. Hence,
I heard this rumor before, because like I play a lot of Blizzard games. And I heard this rumor before, but I didn't know if it was actually like a real thing.
That's why they look so much like Eldar, Zerg, and the Imperium of Man.
Yeah.
Like, kind of Space Marines.
Yeah.
Those Marines,
This one's obvious. Yeah, everyone knows
Marine-y
about
to
this
me.
comparison.
Maybe. I don't know. You really fucked up on that one, Games Workshop, didn't ya? Tyranids are a giant infestation of unfathomable proportions. These are giant, extremely bio-advanced hive mind organisms that are basically all about absorbing as much biomass as they possibly can to evolve and mutate to be extremely potent and powerful and kill and eat anything in their path. They are probably the least evil faction in all of 40k because all they want to do is eat shit. They want to nom nom the entire galaxy. They hangry and we food. Also, this...
It's like, that kind of makes sense. It's kind of like how if an animal attacks somebody, or like if an like a lion like eats a gazelle or whatever, like the lion's not evil. It's just hungry, right? It doesn't know, like, you know, don't kill. It's just hungry, so you do it, right?
Tyranid hive mind has a presence in the warp. In fact, Tyranids in their own right have a massive presence in the warp. They have a thing called the shadow in the warp specifically.
That's a cool
where
name.
when they are coming in to invade a planet, they have this weird ability to kind of cut off the warp on all the psychers on that planet. And how do you get help across the stars? Well, you need the warp, because you need that for interstellar travel. So with people unable to call for help from the Tyranids, these are just easy pickings. And an entire giant Tyranid hive fleet comes out of orbit and just will massacre, absorbing all that biomass and turning them and all of their other Tyranids into even more advanced monsters. They come in so many varieties too, all based on what is important. Tiny little ripper swarms for scouting and having little dudes eat people up, to the Hormigons, Termagants, and Gene Stealers, all the way to the Hive Guard and the Exocrines and the Swarm Lord, to Hive Tyrants and the giant battle fleets, and even something as crazy as the Hierophant Bio-Titan. The Tyranids come in all forms and sizes depending on what they require. They are
Yo, is that a model, that the Bio-Titan thing? That's sick. Oh, this one looks really cool too. I think I saw this in a trailer or like a clip of Space Marine 2. This bug in the back here.
Extremely good at anti-biological weaponry. There is no way you can plague them or blight them. They have extremely strong armor, carapaces and such. Tyranids are nigh perfect organisms and are pretty spooky when it comes down to how they handle all of their genetic material. Keep feeding them, they'll keep evolving. They keep on creating new horrifying organisms to spread across the galaxy.
That's cool.
And you want to know what the most terrifying part of the Tyranids is? We might be surrounded. There have been around 6 or 7 Tyranid hive fleets. Behemoth, Kronos, all these different kinds of hive fleets. And they've all arrived in the galaxy from different points. Different sections of the Milky Way galaxy have had different Tyranids come through.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And that is horrifying.
Yeah.
Because as far as we know, we could just be surrounded on all sides by Tyranids. The only reason you may not hear a whole lot about Tyranids is because it's a little bit hard to have a bunch of story off of one hive mind genocidal monsters. All these giant bugs swarming in, killing and eating everybody and evolving. I mean, as cool as there are some cool characters, the Swarm Lord, Old One Eye, you can't really have a whole bunch of major character-based stories around them. As awesome as they are, they're simple. They want to eat you. They want to eat you and absorb your biomass. They are simple bugs. If you want something a little more complex, talk Gene Stealer cults.
I can have all the pot I want, I get around faster than walking, and wherever I need a seat, I can just sit on my balls.
South Park, Randy Marsh. I know exactly that episode.
Gene Stealer cults are a special brand of Tyranid that can slowly infect themselves into different kinds of society. And by infecting them, they can rise up to where they all pray and believe in these regular humans, pray and believe into their Tyranid hive mind gods. And these brood lords and I think they're called patriarchs all can turn an entire world all based into Gene Stealers. And these are called Gene Stealer cults. An entire hive world of the Imperium can be turned into nothing but servants to the Tyranid masters just by infecting them and screwing with their genetic code a little bit. They also have this cool Mad Max look, which is really neat. Yeah. They are definitely one of the bigger threats to the Imperium besides Chaos. I keep saying biggest threat to the Imperium. They're up there though, because you, dingus, stepped on a bug in middle school. Asshole. There is a cancer eating at the Imperium. With each decade, it advances deeper, leaving drained, dead worlds in its wake. This horror, this abomination, has thought and purpose that functions on an unimaginable galactic scale. And all we can do is to try to stop the swarms of bioengineer monsters it unleashes upon us by instinct. We have given the horror a name to salvage our fears. We call it the Tyranid race. But if it is aware of us, it must know us as nothing but prey. Tyranids.
Damn, that's sick. Dude, all of these quotes to describe the races are so cool.
Cool. But are they as cool as the orcs?
No way. Orcs.
That means I'm super fast.
Orcs, 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 orcs,
Yeah.
orcs, 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 orcs.
Let's
orcs.
go.
I fucking love orcs.
Yeah.
So, yes. The green monsters, the green tide, the green skins. These orcs, they are in fact a race in 40K. The orcs are exactly what you expect them. They have archaic weapons, they're big boys, they have axes, and they have got big old teeth, and they want to kill everything, and there are so many of them. The only reason they haven't taken over the entire galaxy is they can't stop murdering each other. Orcs are so cool. Orcs don't have philosophy. Orcs don't have existential crisis. What matters is who's the biggest orc.
I just saw the skull on the pirate hat was an orc skull.
You listen to that guy, because he the biggest orc. He big orc knows best. You win through the power of imagination. Of all the races I have battled throughout the galaxy, the orc is the hardest to comprehend. They wage war with machines that should not work, care little for strategic gains, and are just as likely to slaughter each other as the enemy. How does one battle an enemy that defies all logic? As an orc, you're enjoying life. You're enjoying the life you're given. Your whole life and job and purpose is to get up and beat each other to death because you can. The biggest orc is the man who understands everything. He is the boss. And orcs have this really weird, like, big, dumb, stereotype British accent, which is just hilarious
Really?
to me. Those are orcs. You fight. You like to fight. Your whole purpose is to fight. You wage war because you want to wage war. You got your boss over there, and you better listen to the boss, because if you don't listen to the boss will squish you and make you an example for the other orcs. And then you can't fight because orc dead. And orc dead can't fight because orc dead. Orcs, they scrap together machines out of parts that don't make any sense, and because they believe, they have the mental imagination that that machine will run, it'll run. If that machine's out of gas, you're driving that machine with your fellow orcs, and the biggest orc is behind the wheel, and you run out of gas, some orc behind you is like, oh, Zog, we're out of gas. And the big orc is like, no, we're not. I filled the fucking gas tank up earlier. And all the other orcs are like, oh yeah, you did do that. And then you turn the fucking mech back on, and it works again. Does it have gas? Probably not, but it works. The power of imagination. They paint things red because it makes them think they goes faster. They paint things purple because it's the sneakiest color. You want to know why? You ever seen a purple orc? Didn't fucking think so.
That's so dumb. Oh, that's so dumb. Oh, that's so funny though. I knew I was gonna like the orcs. I knew it.
Are also like ancient as hell. They're back in the Eldari time frame.
Wait, what?
But
Really?
back then they were called Krorks, and they were much larger and scarier and far more intelligent. Now they're just orcs, and they're big, dumb, and they smack things. But they're pretty spooky. They're not very well armored, but they hit really hard, and it's called the Green Tide because there are so many orcs. There are about as many orcs as there are Tyranids. Maybe more.
What?
Who knows? But they keep on, murdering each other, so it's not too bad of an issue. Orcs are entirely comic relief. Their stuff is slapped together that makes no sense. Their vehicles don't work the way they're supposed to, but they work because they think it works, because they imagine that it works. Orcs care only about who is the biggest orc, and they will follow the biggest orc. And then if they want to be the biggest orc, they'll challenge the biggest orc. And then when they go and they issue a wa is just war in orc, they murder everybody and everything in this giant tide of green orcs who are just excited to be hitting something. They don't care that they're hitting Eldar or the Imperium or Tau or anyone in between. They're just so they get to beat shit up. That's orcs. And on the tabletop, they are a total coin flip, and they're really fun.
Damn, I can't. I'm like trying to see what's going on in this picture. I can't even see. Like, there's just so much stuff happening in this picture.
I have never met a salty orc player. I have never met someone who plays orcs and is ever just a bad guy or that
the yellow
guy.
looks nice.
Orc players have this kind of fun to them because when you play them, you are completely submitting yourself to RNG. So here's the thing. Guardsmen, Imperial Guardsmen, when they shoot, they roll a dice, and on a 4 up, they'll hit their target. They have a 50% chance. Space Marines, pretty good. They hit on a 3 or higher because they're well trained. Adeptus Custodians, they hit on 2s because they're just super well trained. Orcs, they hit on a 5 or higher. But if they roll a 6, they get to make another shot with anything, from the dinkiest pistol to the biggest rocket launcher. It doesn't matter. Half of their stuff will blow up on a whim. One of their medics, if you roll a 1 to heal someone, you fuck up your surgery and you just kill an orc. They're so wacky and silly. But the thing is if you roll well,
These
you
are
roll
so
high,
cool.
and you keep rolling high, you are going to crush people. And if you don't, you lose. I mean, that's what you get when you play orcs. That's what happens when you play orc. It's a coin flip, which is why you can't be a salty bitch when you play orcs, because things won't go your way. It's just the roll of the dice. You're playing a dice game. But if you're going to have fun and you want to be stupid and you want to be silly, you're going to play some damn orcs. But on the opposite side of the fun part of this, let's talk about the Necrons.
The Necrons. These guys look so cool.
The Necrons are spooky, scary skeletons and very grimdark again. They have a much more fleshed out lore than before. Back in the day, they were just undead Egyptian space terminators, and they still look that way, but now they actually have a story. So way back in the day, you had the Necron tier. Kind of see a theme here: Eldari, Eldar, Krork, Orc, Necron, Necron tier. So the Necron tier were this race of generally kind of shitty people. Not because they were personally shitty, because their lives were awful. They were ill-fated to a horrible existence of like radiation and a terrible planet they lived on, and everything just really sucked. Being a Necron tier was just really depressing. They really were looking for immortality. They were extremely reliant on the hope that they would eventually find the key to living forever and just stave off this horrible nature that they were thrust upon them, and therefore they could become the most dominant race in the galaxy. And they found this group. They're called the Old Ones. Imagine them kind of like the Forerunners in Halo or the Xel'Naga in StarCraft, right? These Old Ones were these strong, pretty much omnipotent beings. And they, of course, knew the key to immortality. So the Necrons went to them and said, please, show us your ways. And the Old Ones said, piss off. Not really. They were a lot more humble about it, but they did not want to share their secret of immortality with the Necrons. The Necrons, of course, took this very well and waged war with them, kind of under this united banner. The Necron different dynasties didn't really like each other, but under this one man, the Silent King, he thought the best way to unite his race was to do this giant war with the Old Ones out of spite for them keeping the secret of immortality to them. This was known as the War in Heaven, and this is actually like a multi-stage war, because during this war in heaven, they discovered the Star Gods, a whole new race of people known as the Catan, or the Catan. These Star Gods were also very much like Old Ones, almost omnipotent beings, and they too had the key to immortality. And so the Necrons went to them and said, hey, can you help us fight off the Old Ones? Can you help us kill these Old Ones, you, the Catan? And the Catan said yes. And in fact, we can help provide you with the immortality you so desperately seek. So the Silent King of the Necrons decided to make a pact with the Catan to allow them to accept this generous gift of immortality upon them. But this, of course, had been a horrendous trap. And the Necrons were dragged in chains to this biotransference where their flesh was stripped from them, replaced with nothing but a metal hollow shell, as their souls were ripped from their body and fed to the Catan. And the Catan fattened up. They got chonk on the souls of the Necrons. As this was their plan all along, they consumed the flesh and souls of the Necron tier and turned them all into unwilling robotic slaves just to serve their will. And then, with their new-founded Necron army, they pointed their guns at the Old Ones, and the Catan continued their domination of the stars and their genocide, complete and full genocide of these Old Ones. The Old Ones did their best to stave it off. They even created other races, the Eldari and the Orcs, to try to fight off the horrifying Necron army and the Catan above them. But there was absolutely no possible chance for them. And the Old Ones were absolutely extinguished across the galaxy. Their entire race completely removed. Full-on 100% genocide. However, during all this, the Catan so just infatuated with their victory, started fighting each other for fun, for sport, and for small differences, doesn't matter. The Catan, with these overpowered people, they're gonna eventually hit each other at some point. And as they began just menially fighting each other, the Eldari and the Orcs actually started pushing on the Catan's borders a little bit, giving them a little bit of a run for their money. And as this continued, this is when the Silent King, who retained his consciousness, decided to leap into action and start a full-scale revolt against their Catan masters. And this revolt was bloody.
Sorry, I like haven't paused in a bit because this is just like so interesting. Like, I know he has some other videos, and one of them is like the storyline, and I'm very excited for that because like this has just been so interesting to watch. Like, I'm so excited. I'm just like so like just mind blown with like the amount of detail that's in this. It's crazy.
The entire Necron army was surged off to destroy these star gods. They were able to, just after suffering horrendous losses, were able to turn the tide of the war. And they took these Catan and they blasted them. Because as these star gods are unkillable, they were able to break them into thousands of shards and entrap them in giant stasis vaults to now actually be slaves to the Necrons. And with
So
the
sick.
Necrons having the entirety
So
of their
cool.
old gods enslaved to them, they realized that soon their race was about to be attacked by the overcoming new races, the Eldari and the Krorks. And so what they did is they retreated into giant stasis tombs in order to preserve their energy and their strength for when one day they would be reawakened and they would be able to rule the galaxy that was rightfully theirs. And then some dingus Adeptus Mechanicus guy diddled with a green console, and now the Necrons are back and they see all these primitive races on their lawns and they think, get the fuck off of it. The Necrons are back, super advanced, and they are here to reclaim the galaxy that they so rightfully believe is theirs. Now at tabletop, they're a lot like that. Tons of undead Egyptian skeleton
so cool.
robots that when they die, they just get right back up because they keep on reanimating. Hard to kill, tons of crazy stuff. You can use the Catan themselves as units to fight
Wow,
with.
really?
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Cool. The Necrons are one of the three major events in 40k. The Horus Heresy, the Fall of the Eldar, and the Awakening of the Necrons are all pretty substantial events. And the Necrons themselves are pretty dang cool as well. Here's a good quote from a wonderful Dawn of War game. Lucky creatures, as long last you have found the tranquility of death. I was like you once, clinging to life and blind to the truth. When I uncovered the truth, I too shuddered and paled with fear. Deep in these catacombs, I was remade. Here, my brethren slumbered for eons while the living grew like weed. My Lord knew this day would come. He had plans for us all. We would purge this world once more. So come, poor victims of life. We will grant you tranquility in these crypts. Kronos will be a tomb world once more. Necrons
Poor victims of life is crazy.
are also pretty smug. Trazen the Infinite especially, a little dickhead. But speaking of dickheads, last race, let's talk the Tau.
We made a fucking Wookiee.
The exact formation of the Tau Empire is not entirely
Here we go. I was all hyped on the Tau before, but I've just been hearing people trash talk them all the time.
understood. However, a long time ago, many thousands of years ago, in the 40k world that is, some Imperial navigation vessels were going around through different areas, and they saw a primitive race, blue people, smacking each other with sticks and stones. They thought, nah, dumb Xenos race, who gives a shit, and they bailed. Then this giant warp storm occurred right in that major area, unable to be breached. Then, once that warp storm, 6,000 years later, subsided,
I still don't know what a warp storm is, but
Hello, those little sticks. Well, they decided to actually have no war of any kind and all just unite together under one flag of the Tau Empire. And now they have gigantic starships and Gundam robots and lasers and railguns and mechs, and they are here to ruin your day for the greater good. That is generally the Tau Empire. They have this kind of feeling of this homogenous group. All species can go underneath the banner of the greater good. The greater good is their idea of the fundamental increase and help of all. In fact, they are most likely the most like the Covenant in Halo, where they have the overarching prophets, being the ethereals, who are actually kind of dicks and like to pull at strings a little bit, but then you have all these different races directly underneath them, and they all work together in this big group as this large, foreboding race that tries to spread their weirdly pseudo-religious influence across the galaxy. The alien is not intrinsically evil. Do not hate him. Pity him, his ignorance. Seek to understand his differences and equate him with his inadequacies. Only then will he accept his place in the greater good. That is generally the Tau. And if you're kind of wondering like what their mainly big shtick is, well, they're all about big robots and mechs. They have laser rifles and rail guns. They got giant mechs with tons of missile pods and
It's so cool. How do people hate this? Like, they look awesome.
Heavy rail rifles and rail guns and burst cannons and ion accelerators and void shields and all this stuff. And that is generally what the Tau's all about. But you're probably thinking, Bricky, this doesn't sound that evil. This doesn't sound very grim, dark Warhammer. And you'd be right. The Tau Empire really don't have that much of a horrifying, grim, dark style like everybody else. They're much more younger, new age thing. In fact, they're probably a lot less evil and a lot even better than they are now back in the day, because they liked having like that good guy faction. But a lot of us who really like the dark, depressing style of Warhammer didn't really like it that much. So, see, the Tau get a lot of hate, and a lot of that hate isn't necessarily unjustified. It's mainly from a tabletop perspective, but as you can see from all the visuals I've shown you recently, they don't really fit in the 40K universe very well.
Yeah, I guess when you look at this picture that he has in the background, and like all like the Dark Eldar and just like the Chaos and just Space Marines and everything, like, yeah, I do kind of see it. They don't really fit. That kind of makes sense.
They lack that super dark, dramatic, kind of high gothic level the Imperium has. They don't have the weird kind of like grungy stuff that Chaos or say the Orcs do. And the Necrons and the Eldar have their own specific style as well. The Tau really do look like something out of Gundam. And while it isn't necessarily a bad thing, it does definitely not fit too well. There's that. There's also the tabletop problem. In tabletop, Tau are horrible at melee combat.
See, it's easy. Okay. Horrible at melee combat.
But exceptionally good at range combat. So they blast everyone from really, really far away, and they have a million rules to make it so that it's nearly impossible for you to get into melee combat. So it basically just forces you to bottleneck the game into one specific gameplay style, which is gun to gun. And if you're doing gun to gun, they're going to win every time because they're the Tau, and the Tau are really damn good at shooting. So it's one of those things that make the Tau generally rather hated, and a lot of different reasons for that, both from style and such. But this is actually one of the things I wanted to end this video with, is that the Tau, while they have their issues, you should not be discouraged from playing them. I'll make plenty of Tau weeaboo jokes, of course I will, but it's all generally in good fun. Anyone who legitimately doesn't want you to play a faction is an idiot, and you shouldn't be giving them the time of day. You pick what you think is cool and what you like. In Warhammer, especially now, factions get better and they get worse. They grow and then they fall. You should only be playing what you think is cool. You like the look, you like the models. If you're talking tabletop,
this song, StarCraft, I already know it.
That is what you should be going for every time, is what you think is badass, because things change all the time. But the universe of Warhammer has so much going for it. Every faction has something interesting, every character has a story, and there's a million stories to be told. The universe is vast and exciting, and while it is dark, depressing, and horrible, that is the damn charm. And out of everything I've told you in these 2 videos, if anything you could take away is the reason why so many of us are so into this series and why we like it so much. Because with so much variety, such an expansive universe, and so much that can be done, you can find yourself having a pretty great time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it has been informative to you. If you'd like to see more of me, Bricky, you have twitch.tv/Bricky for my streams. You have my merchant.
Check him out, guys. Buy his merch. Check out Bricky, Twitch TV, Bricky, BrickyMerch.com. Check it out.
Site in which I was wearing all of my merch, but underneath this, because I had to wear this so it wasn't black or white for the green screen, which is a little unfortunate.
That's why.
Fine.
Okay.
If you'd like to see merch, it is in the description. Also, if you'd like to support me on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Bricky for more videos like this, then that would also be wonderful. So Twitch, merch, Patreon, anything if you want to support, that would be fantastic. I'd appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Bricky.
If not, I'm just stoked you got all the way to the end of the video, and that is enough for me. So I'm going to be having some more content like this out in the future. Thank you so much for sticking around this long and being with me through this pretty rough time. That's, I think, all I got. Also, before I go, let me leave you with my favorite Warhammer quote. He who scoffs at the power of the las gun has never ran through a field of 1,000 of them. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Bricky. Amazing, amazing. Great job. These 2 videos must have taken so much time and effort to compile, edit, and just to make them. Like, it must have taken so long. Please, please, please check out the original video. Check out his Twitch. Check out his Patreon. Check out his merch page. Support Bricky. He is so talented to go through all of this, knowing all this lore to make everything that we just watched. I really, really, really appreciate him. My friends, since I posted the first video, some of my friends have been like, man, like what do you mean? Like, you don't know Bricky? Like, he's so famous. Like, so I'm very, very happy to see all this. Thank you so much. I'm gonna come back with another video, hopefully sooner this time, with the next one in this series that he made about Warhammer. I think the next one is either lore or it's all the Space Marine factions. I'm not sure. I'm really excited for both, so we'll see what happens. Besides that, I'll probably do some other content. I don't know, maybe some game reviews, maybe about my life here in Japan, since I moved to Japan like almost coming on 2 years now, actually, now that I'm looking at the calendar. So maybe I'll make some videos about that. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you watching the video. Catch you next time. Peace.